Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Tony coming from the DMV area again. For those that don't know, it's DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Wanted to do a quick video on the importance of reading. Now, I know we hear about this all the time. Reading is fundamental. Reading is important. But I really want to emphasize how important reading is when it comes to business. Really when it comes to anything in your life, whether it be personal development, whether it be business development. Reading is truly fundamental. It can help you reach certain heights in your career, in your personal life, your business life. Reading is very important. When I, a couple years ago, I went out on my own personal journey of personal development, and there was just so much about the world, about myself I didn't know. And what really helped me to get me to the next level is just reading as many books as I can. I remember I was watching a YouTube video of one person, I forgot his name, but he was saying that what he did for 1 year was read 400 books in a year, 12 months, 365 days. He read 12 or 400 books in that year, and he said the experience from that just catapulted his intellectual capabilities, how he views certain situations. Basically he was just saying he became a whole different person. When you really think about it, every book that you read has someone or many people's ideas in that book. It has their experiences, it has their interests, it has their pain, their sorrow, it also has their excitement, their achievements, all wrapped up in one book, or maybe a series of books. Then you read it and you take that and you learn from their journey, and while you're reading, you're applying it into your own life, whether it be subconsciously or consciously. But regardless, you're taking away the fruit that you need in your own life. So when it comes to business in Nigeria, in Africa, it's very important to know your shit. Basically, you don't want to go in there naive, thinking that you know all you need to know because you lived in the UK, you lived in the US, you lived in Russia, you live in Australia, and you already know what to expect. You know, you've done business over here and you think you can swing it. No, it's not the case. It's a whole different ball field. But this should be self-explanatory. We're all intellectual, smart people. You should be able to figure this out. So I wanted to show some of the books that I read and why I got these books. Amazon, man, Amazon really is a great avenue to get your books at. Of course, you can go through other bookstores, but Amazon just makes it so easy, especially with e-readers and e-books. It's not just for buying electronics and phones and stuff like that. No, you can also buy books as well. And my own opinion, I feel books just carry their value forever. It's such a greater investment, a better investment than just buying stuff that tends to lose its value over time. With books, you're always going to have those ideas, you're always going to have those experiences. Maybe it might be a little bit outdated in some areas, but still it's that thought process, that thinking. You're looking at words, your mind is functioning hard to comprehend what's being said. It's not like you're watching TV where your mind just goes to sleep. No, your mind is actively engaged. Your subconscious is working behind the scenes as it does, and consciously you're just feeding yourself with intellects of others. So have some books. So first one I can show you here, Basics of International Business. Of course, if I'm trying to do business abroad, see, my bookmarker came out. But if I'm trying to do business abroad, I want to. It was completely new to me, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what is the best way to attack it? What are some things I should keep in mind so that I don't make certain mistakes? And this book is just a regular book. It has some good reviews on Amazon. and I figured, okay, well, I'll just take a look at it. Then I wasn't able to finish a big book, and I'm a very busy person. But I mean, if you wanna, you can pause it and get the name and all the information. If you want to take a look at it, you can. Amazon allows you to preview some of the books that they have. So if you want to do that, then you can do that. Another book I got called Investing for Dummies. So this is when I first started getting interested in the stock market, ETFs, what's the other one called? Mutual funds, index funds, forex, all that other stuff. Like I started getting interested in it. I didn't know anything about it, and of course, what do? Of course, you got YouTube, but also just read. I tried to challenge myself not to watch too many videos, because then it can kind of turn into like watching TV, which I stopped watching. So I buy the books, and I try to take down notes and record what I can. Even if the book is not the best, I'm still getting something out of it. I'm still getting a bit of information out of it, and I'm still reading. I'm still engaged. It's still exercise for my mind. So even if you don't like the book, you still gave your brain some exercise, and that's really important. Earlier, I went again to agriculture in Nigeria, so I got one cheap book. I think it was like 99 cents from Amazon, and it's just about rice farming. It was alright. Not really in depth. I mean, it's like really thin. I think it's like 26 pages. Yeah, 26 pages. Step by step. It's a step-by-step guide on how to grow rice, and it wasn't that extensive, but I did learn something. I always learn something from all the books that I read. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the best book that you get, but as long as you learn something, then that's what's important. Recent book that I just got that I kept hearing about, and I'm eventually going to do a video on, is The Confessions of an Economic Hitman. This book talks about a guy named John Perkins, who was known as Economic Hitman. It talks about how basically the West goes into third world countries and tries to or conquers them, not necessarily by force, but by trapping these countries in debt. And it's very extensive. I still gotta still reading a little bit of it. So eventually I'm gonna probably pick out some chapters and do a video on it, just so you can kind of see the breakdown of what's been going on, get a bit of a better understanding why Africa is the way it is. It's not entirely Africa's fault. What you have is predators, the Western world. Now China's doing their thing, but really it started with the Western world that comes in, gives loans that these countries can't repay, take care of the leaders of these countries, and of course these leaders are bought out and they continue to exploit the people on ground. So when you have racists people say, oh yeah, Africa just don't know how to get their stuff together. No, you get if you really look behind the scenes and really look into it, you have other countries, European countries, that come in and exploit and take advantage of these countries that were just formerly that formally got their independence. Let's not forget that these countries are still fresh. Some of them got their independence. I think like I think the latest was 1965 or something like that. With Nigeria's 1960. It really is not that long ago. So it's they're trying to get their feet on track and trying to get past what colonialism did to them, but you still got a whole bunch of countries, West companies or whatever, that are trying to keep their foot on the necks of Africans. And this book just allows you to see a different perspective on what's going on and how you can be more strategic in the way you do your business and how to combat the atrocities that are going on. So that's that. Another book that I bought, so I'm always trying to think years ahead, and I was just curious about how cities are built. When I look at Nigeria, it's when I was there, I just hated the way the infrastructure was. It wasn't being updated. It was just somewhat managed, not really, but I mean it's falling apart, and there doesn't seem to be any investment in maintaining or even what's the word I'm looking for, supporting the growing population. So the book I got, Urban Planning for Dummies, and it basically talks about, you know, when you look at the cities, at least in the US, and how they start building these towns and everything, the roads are all wide, and there's so much space and land. How's everything consistent? Like, how is everything so well thought up? And I was, you know, it's impressive to me because it just makes life so much easier for the people that live in those new towns. Even the older cities, they at least have, I guess, the option to revitalize the old buildings. They have the space. They can still work with the plumbing. Like, they can still do something, but I really like how new towns are built. It's just so much space, and I know they're trying to accommodate for a growing population. I just wish that Nigeria was able to, you know, think of that instead of thinking of the here and now. Think about the future. You know, the population is supposed to grow. I think they're saying about 400 million people across the country, and I think like 2015 or 2050. So 400 million, 400,000. I can't remember exactly, but it's going to be a lot of people, and you got to be able to accommodate that big of a population. So urban planning, just to know the basics of it, so that when I'm doing my own businesses and I'm expanding, I'm trying to invest in communities, I kind of have an idea of what I'm looking for, and then it allows me to know what people I should get in contact with. So I'm not just thinking about myself, I'm also thinking about what other Nigerians, Africans have expertise in these areas of urban planning, you know, and connecting with them and finding them on social media, online, through the social networking events that I go to. I'm always trying to think ahead of, you know, I don't care what background you're coming from. I want to see, it doesn't have to be where the exact background of what I'm trying to do as far as business wise. It could be anything. But I'm sure you all get the point of what I'm trying to say. Another book that I got, I didn't even read this one yet, but how basically it's about how to build your business, how to grow it, how to make it consistent. You know, it got good reviews on Amazon, and you know, I'm all for just reading more. And even if I can't read everything all in that same month or quarter, I still like to have it so that I always have something on my list of things to get to. So if I'm traveling on a plane, I can read. Even if I'm on vacation and I got some downtime, I can read something. I always want to be reading, so I can just keep learning, and it allows for better conversation. I'm all about intellectual conversation. The more you read, the more smarter you are, and the more interesting of a person you become. So here's another book on how to build a franchise business. Once again, when it comes to business, you're not just thinking about, well, if you're really trying to scale up and really trying to make an impact in the community, you want to be able to replicate a successful business. So in doing that, you have to do certain things to make it possible. So when you look at McDonald's, it's not just one McDonald's, it's a whole bunch of them all throughout the world. They use the same model, they produce the same product, they produce the same service, whether it be bad, good. For the most part, it's all the same. You know what you're going to get. It's all going to taste the same. The food is all going to taste the same. and it is very profitable. It's a franchise, so you just buy into everything that's set up, and you go ahead and you make money every time. And it's profitable because they put in place systems of how to replicate what they're doing in this one store. So with this book, it talks about how you can do it for your own business and things to think about while you're creating your business, writing stuff down, writing like an operational manual, thinking about, okay, how you gonna do management, organizational chart, who's the head, who's the manager, like all this stuff you want to think about if you're really trying to expand your business. You don't want to just think of one shop. You want to expand and put it in different areas. I mean, that's where you really get into wealth. Book, unfortunately, I've been so busy and I haven't been able to look at it, but really thick book. Really, I mean, my goodness. But Microsoft Excel 2016. I never knew how powerful Excel really is. There's so much you can do in Microsoft Excel. Formulas, like just powerful stuff. And I just saw it one day on, once again, Amazon, and I figured, okay, let me just get it. Try to do some of it. It even allows you to let me see. It's not just something you read. You can actually, it'll give you certain files, and you can follow along and do exactly what they're telling you to do. So you have that experience, and then you can create the same data. It's really cool. And then you see it gives you like some homework. Let's see if it could show you like the problems to work on, and you can do that on your own time, and you can really get a feel for what's going on. So that's good. Small Business Bible. So it just tells you about when you're starting your business, some things you want to keep in mind. I think one of the first things it talked about was like doing the books, having your paperwork in order, your taxes, accounting for your taxes, and really trying to build a strong foundation so you don't mess up. And another book I got. This is when I was really interested in real estate, so I'll look at it again. But basically, it talks about buildings in hot and humid climates and how buildings should be built in certain areas of the world. So, of course, Nigeria is a tropical climate. I was trying to see how can you put in building science to make the environment cleaner, safer, and to not be so reliant on high amounts of energy, electricity. I already know about the electrical shortages in Nigeria using generators. Like you can't, it's ridiculous. Like you can't run a society on mostly generators. Like it's not gonna work. It's not healthy for the environment. Using diesel, it dirties your air, pollution. Then from that comes health problems. Like you really got to start thinking in the future of the effects that it's going to have on your children. So book like this allows you, it helps you see how buildings are built in order to make it cooler, so that you're not running an air conditioning all the time. In Nigeria, the air conditioning, it's the biggest expense to your home. It's the biggest system that uses electricity. Everything else is a little bit small, but AC operation is so high. And it's, if you can find a way to build a building where you don't have to cool the building so much, then that'll be excellent. I'm even interested in buildings that don't need to have AC but utilize fans and are built in a way where sun doesn't beam into the windows like that. And of course, they're using fans to cool the air. So, just the last book here. I got more books, but I'm just showing some of them. This one I'm reading, of course. You all know, or maybe y'all don't know, a lot of y'all don't know, but Kingsley Mwale running for Nigerian presidency this Saturday. In the book, he talks about all different areas of Nigeria where improvements can be made, and you know, a lot of good information. You know, even if he doesn't win, I said this in a past video, you can still take what he's saying in this book and apply it to your own business, apply it to what you're trying to do in Nigeria. You can, you know, this is specifically for Nigeria, but maybe you could find another person from another African country that is well versed in the ins and outs of that country, and then you can learn more. So here, have all these books. There's more. I even got some on my tablet that you know, very informative. And the whole point is to just keep reading. Like, this is probably, all these books I probably showed you possibly has like probably 1,000 years of experience, education, just from all that's here. Just multiple authors, multiple you know, different experiences in these books, and I'm able to condense it to what you just saw, which is, you know, is not that much, but so many years of experience in these books at a price that's very affordable. Probably all these maybe around $250 for all these books. And I was buying brand new, so I could have even got it cheaper. But you know, it's, you know, that's where I like to invest a good chunk of my money in buying information that can make me smarter, can make me wiser, can make me more strategic. You know, I never really care to buy items, you know, shoes or clothes. Like, as long as my stuff is in good order, then I'm fine. But books like these books can affect someone else's life. It can change someone else's life. It can empower someone. This is what it's all about. It's not about buying products for yourself or just giving out charity here and there. No, it's about changing the lives of people that are struggling and are suffering. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely like, comment, subscribe to my channel, show some love. You know, just put it out there so that others can see it, can take it, can run with it, and we can do something great all together in Nigeria.